about to happen. She had no idea that Trump was about to dominate like this.
Well, this is something that's personal to me. When I talk about the struggles that Arizonans are facing, it's not just talk. I grew up in a family that often struggled, at times relied on food stamps to get by. And my husband and I also have our share of financial struggles. We lost a home to foreclosure, among other things. So I get it. I get what Arizonans are going through right now. And they want leaders who are focused on lowering those costs. I talked to a lot of folks who thought that Donald Trump was going to do that. And instead, my opponent, Andy Biggs, is in Congress voting to support the cost hiking agenda coming from Washington. I'm focused on how we can lower costs. Look, there is a lot at stake in this election. It's a choice between Arizona first leadership and Washington-style chaos. And my very likely opponent after tonight is going to be Andy Biggs, who, as you've already described, is an election denier, who not only is an ally of Trump and refuses to acknowledge the results of the 2020 election, but he went so far as to help plan January 6th.
Wait a minute. Is she seriously talking about high costs and people in her state struggling? How long has she been governor for? This is what doesn't make sense to me. They're campaigning as if they never got elected. What is she talking about? Let's look at the numbers. Biggs, you saw he won 73.4%. A win, that's a statement. Trump's primary power is still absolute in Arizona, and they tried to put up a Democrat, a moderate Democrat alternative, and voters said absolutely no. This is not just about the governor's race. They're talking about flipping the entire governorship and helping decide House control. Arizona is back on the board in a major way, ladies and gentlemen. Now, again, this is the Katie Hobbs stuff that we were talking about. Now, watch how fast the media and Katie Hobbs start to spin. And that is exactly what she just did. The second Biggs one, Hobbs was already calling him an election denier and saying that Arizona would be the first swing state with one in charge, an election denier in charge. Classic. They have one attack and they're going to run with that all the way to the ground. Just as you saw, she's trying to frame that she's campaigning and that she never won an election before, that she hasn't been governor this whole time. So again, right, the media is trying to portray this win as a Trump-backed extremist win again type of scenario. Instead, Republican voters just rejected the establishment option by 60 points. They're not talking about the border. They're not talking about crime. They're not talking about how Arizona has felt under her. It's instantly election denier nonstop and how they're struggling in her state. So she's admitting, right? She's admitting to this. The threat to democracy play is exactly what they're trying to do. Let's actually go and see what Trump's primary power looks like. This is one of the main reasons a lot of people are arguing that Democrats are going to get cooked every time they get elected.
Smith Powell holding strong in the key swing state of Arizona and scoring multiple primary wins last night.
Madeline Rivera is live in Washington with the results. Maddie, what happened?
Yeah, first in the gubernatorial race, guys, Republican Congressman Andy Biggs' win sets up what could be one of the most competitive races for governor this November. He is set to face Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs, who's running for another term. Republicans feel bullish about their chances of picking up this.
I know I said it a few times as to how Andy Biggs won, but guys, this was straight domination. And the numbers are actually, they're pretty fishy. So before I continue on with this video, let's talk about the numbers between Katie Hobbs and Andy Biggs. This was a post that I saw. Governor Katie Hobbs won by Arizona. She won Arizona by 17,000 votes in 2022. She's been governor for some time now. Arizona processed about 434,000 duplicate registrations. We're just gonna leave that there. Let's get back to the information that I was showing you about Andy Biggs.
Seat in a state that President Trump won in 2024. It is toss-up territory, though, as voters had picked a Democratic governor 2 years before that. As a hardline conservative, Biggs was asked about his ability to work with folks across the aisle. Here's what he said.
I am a conservative. I'm a principled conservative, but I work with people that don't necessarily agree with me on every issue, because you're not going to find someone who agrees with you on every issue. In other words, you can work across the aisle, and that's where I've always done, is try to find points of agreement.
Another Trump-backed candidate, former NFL kicker Jake Feely, won the GOP nomination for the state's first congressional district. This is a closely watched race that could help determine control of the House. Feely's Democratic opponent is unclear as that contest has not yet been called. Dems are also hoping to flip a seat in the 6th congressional district. Incumbent Republican Congressman Juan Ciscomati will be going head-to-head with Democrat Joanna Mendoza, who ran unopposed. She's come under scrutiny after reports that she followed several OnlyFans models and self-described witches on her official campaign Instagram account.
Yeah, Democrats, they got a lot going on over there. They got a lot going on. But let's actually go to the funniest part of the night. And socialists just got destroyed by 30 points in Arizona Congressional District 4 primary. Places like Arizona are ready to destroy socialism, even with their own party. This is why when Democrats go communist, in crucial battleground states, a red tsunami will form, and that is the point of this video. The point of this video, yes, Katie Hobbs is panicking, yes, Trump went 7-0, yeah. But the biggest issue that we are seeing with the Democratic Party is that they're throwing up these socialist candidates, and that they think that these socialist candidates are actually going to become mainstream one day, which is why a lot, and I mean a lot of Democrats are coming out, including Van Jones. I'll show you that in just a moment. David Pacman, Destiny, big-time political commentators are coming out. John Fetterman, a lot of them saw the writing on the wall that a lot of these socialists, if you start throwing them up in swing states, battleground states, and some of these big elections, they're going to get cooked by not only incumbents, because, it didn't happen in New York City, but that's New York City. We're talking about Arizona. We're talking about different states. And they're going to get cooked, especially the more that those Democrat socialists show what they're doing in office and actually what they really believe while using the Democratic platform. So here it is.
Overnight, progressives facing a big setback in Arizona. Look at that spread there. That's big. As primary election results continue to pour in from the Grand Canyon state.
That is disturbing news. If you're Democrats thinking about, basically running more socialists instead of, just regular Democrats, that is what's going on there. Doesn't make any sense to me that they wouldn't just try to, get the party out. So Van Jones was one of those people that said, hey, look, we got to be very, very careful, because these Democrats, they're going to ruin the party, man. They're going to ruin the party. And again, Van Jones comes out, show the way that they lost there. So Van Jones comes out, he's like, Democrat governors and senators are privately calling him, panicking about the rise of communism. And in their party, the leftists, they're in a civil war right now. And Katie Hobbs and everybody else, especially in Arizona, what they just saw happen, that a Democrat destroyed a socialist the way that they did, is scary, because how much power does Mamdani really have? They know that a red landslide could come if the Democrat platform becomes full communist. Guys, those wins in New York City, those wins in Colorado, it's not going to be the same, especially spread out, if that's what you're going to do. And remember, those Democrats, they have to beat other Democrats and then run against Republicans in actual primaries, in the general election, excuse me. So in the general election, it's not the same thing as a primary. You're going against a different party, and it's not looking good.
With Gretchen Carlson. So, Van, your post struck a nerve, right? We saw it strike a nerve on Fox News. I saw it strike a nerve among many on the left.
Yes.
Okay, for whom some of those things you mentioned have become passionate rallying calls, right?
Yeah.
But you knew it was going to. Van doesn't walk into a moment like this being like, oh, I don't think this is going to have a splash. Let me go like this.
A lot.
To you.
Why? Why do you think?
Because this was necessary.
Thank you.
This was very, especially from your voice. Now, I'm going to let you respond first, because this is about you, and then I can pick up.
Well, listen, I cannot tell you, this phone has been blowing up all day. Governors from both parties, senators from both parties, Democrats in the House calling, thanking me for saying what everybody's been saying behind the scenes, which is that this stuff is going too far. I am a progressive Democrat. You want to talk about prison reform? I've done it as well as anybody, Republican, Democrats in the South with Trump. I've done prison reform. I never said have no prisons. Where are you going to put the Klan? I've done police reform. I never said no police. Where are you going to put the pedophiles? Who's going to grab the pedophiles? This stuff is going too far. And part of the thing that has to happen is we saw what happened in the Republican Party when things started going in a nutty direction.
So there you go. Of course, you know, what they're doing to argue for this is that they think that the Republican Party is going nutty. Here's the difference. Trump and his Republican Party just won a 7-0 sweep. Socialists just got cooked. And socialists are not being endorsed by the Democrats. And also, I don't see MAGA calling for no prisoners, for no prisons, or calling for some wild shit that you just said. I think Arizona is pretty big. It's considered a swing state. They have a Democrat governor. The SAVE Act is on the horizon. Looks like it's going to pass with the NDAA bill, but that might not take effect at this election. But if that does happen, there's a lot of things that are going to be exposed, especially when it comes to these Democrats getting cooked in Arizona, but then all of a sudden actually ended up winning the governorship in Arizona. It makes no sense. I know a lot of people are very confused by that, but that's politics today. Now, look, there's a lot of people that would argue, hey, Lou, you know, I voted for Trump and I'm not happy about this, I'm not happy about that. Look, the alternative and the ultimatum is you got to give Trump the time. If you still don't like it, what are you going to do? Are you going to vote differently? Let me know. There's a lot of people that say that they're not just not going to vote at all. They don't like what's happening. They love what's happening. They love the Trump accounts, that censorship on social media. They love the investments in America, manufacturing jobs coming back. I mean, they love certain things. They don't love the war, but they love. So there's a lot of things to love. There's a lot of things not to love. But what is the alternative? Are you going to turn into the Democratic Party? I know it's a hefty conversation, but Trump still has a lot of pull. And I think that there is no Republican Party without Trump at this point. I just think that that's just what it is. A lot of people voted for Trump because of the fact that, hey, this dude, he saw what happened at the border. A lot of people, a lot of immigrants themselves, a lot of people who have been here, came to America 20 years ago, 30 years ago, legal immigrants. They went through the system. They saw what happened in New York City. They saw what happened in all these sanctuary cities. They see crime out of control. They see all these things that happen in California. They see these things happening with kids, transgenderism for children, all these things that really were cultural issues got Trump elected because Democrats are still running on that platform. If there's a Democrat out there, let me know. We should be looking and taking serious. But a lot of them, they're not willing to say, yo, I'm not with that. I don't like that. But let me know what you guys think down below. Big day in Arizona. The midterms are shaping up. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. It's a big thing that I'm asking for. I know, just comment, like, and subscribe.